Happy Saturday. I wanted to address a few questions that I'm getting today about the model. Before I do, I want to point out everyone's model I've seen online. Nobody has gone in here and gone to borders more and chosen the widest border, a dark gray left, or bottom and right rather, white left and top, or top and left, and giving us that 3D effect. So you might want to do that. Makes it look a little nicer for your future posterity. I know you're all going to save these forever. And then I'll clean this up a little bit. So restatements kind of came from this sheet when we were comparing originals to restatements. Obviously that has no place here. I'm going to highlight these, Alt HAC, Control B, cut, move down. In fact, I think I'll just Control minus and delete those. And so your revenue bill section, hopefully your company doesn't sell widgets, but anything that you want to put up here, feel free. Strongly recommend a capital expenditure line, any loans you want to consider, whether government or not, and any equity that you want to issue or buy back, whether government or not. Again, if you issue or buy back equity, then you're going to need to assume a share price. You don't have control over that, but you need to assume one so you can calculate the right number of shares. Probably should have called this an income statement before now, but we'll go with that. If you don't want to build your revenue up there in rows 28 through 35 on my model, you can put each of those lines down here with your ratios section. They fit just as well down there. So you have plenty of latitude on that. The only thing I would encourage is that you keep each column in this tab, in this worksheet, the same year. It just makes it so much easier to scroll up and down. I would probably just rename that as balance sheet and cash flows. I feel like I've said consolidated statement of cash flows about 1 million times this semester. I think next semester I'm just going to say cash flows to save some time. Operating, investing, financing, and so on. And the question I'm getting, the reason I'm making this video, is people are saying, gosh, how do I do that free cash flow calculation? We'll go back to Module 3, pull up this pro forma practice, and scroll down to the bottom. So I think here I called it a free cash flow calculation and a discounted cash flow valuation. I didn't quite get the DCF on, but what I'd like to do is do a Control Shift End, cut, and paste. And I may need to do a little bit of cleanup here, but probably not much. I think my history in this particular model might be more like right here. But if you're not using golden lines like that, then it won't matter to you anyway. You'll just come in here and again for the piece that you forecast, so you're only forecasting 2020, or I'm forecasting on this example 2020 forward. So I'll go back down to that cash flow, and I guess I'm actually starting my forecast here. So the cut and paste was the easy part. There were some things that were given over here on pro forma practice, and this may be more of the question people are asking. Share price, well, you can get your share price. Cost of equity. If you don't know how to do cost of equity, the day before this is due is not the time to learn. Use 10%. We'll talk about it later. Long-term free cash flow growth rate. If you've listened in class, I've said many times that 1, 2, 3%, somewhere in that range is appropriate for a long-term free cash flow growth rate. The idea is that we approximate GDP growth or inflation with that number. Exit multiple, ideally you would go out and look at what other firms in the peer group are trading for and use that. Thanks.